time for another episode of the Animated Critics. Coming to you live from the studio, it's your favorite movie mavericks, T and J.
Thank you for joining us for a review of This Week in Movies. I'm Jay, here with my co-host T, and we're going to be reviewing some of the big news coming out of Hollywood this week. A couple of things we'll be looking at is the Joaquin Phoenix Meltdown documentary, I'm Still Here. We'll be looking at True Lies being picked up as a television series by ABC. And we'll also be taking a look at the new Mark Wahlberg film, The Fighter. First, though, we're going to take a look at the top 5 films at the box office for this past weekend.
In at number 1 was The Town, with the estimated 23.6 weekend gross. It was a big surprise for everyone. Everyone thought Easy A was going to be number 1. Did you think that Easy A was going to top The Town?
Absolutely not. I was never sure why this was such a surprise to be in the top of the box office. I thought this was easily going to win the weekend. I'm surprised Easy A made what it made. I had no doubt The Town was going to top 20 million. I heard a lot of good buzz from people around town. The trailers have really kicked in through sports programming the last few weeks, and I'm not surprised at all at this gross. I am surprised that Easy A made over $15 million with the limited amount of marketing I saw with that. Surprise of the week, as far as I'm concerned, is Devil debuting with only $12 million. That's a big letdown considering that Shyamalan, M. Night's name is on that, and nobody really showed up for that. You think it's too early in the year to release these type of horror films?
Well, I think it's, if you saw the trailer for it, it only deserves, $12.7 million for the weekend. It doesn't look that good to me. It looks more like a straight-to-video type thing. And I just, even though it has M. Night's name on it, that doesn't necessarily mean anything anymore.
I agree with you on that. And somebody that M. Night has worked with was Joaquin Phoenix, who has had his mini meltdown the last couple of years. After a 2-year retirement from acting, he's back on the big screen this year with I'm Still Here, the documentary, or some say mockumentary, directed by Casey Affleck, chronicling his meltdown and his want to be a hip-hop artist. Now, it's come out in the press that this is actually the big hoax and that the Letterman appearance and everything, like according to Letterman and his publicist, was all planned. Do you have any interest in seeing this documentary?
The major issue with this is that I feel like I've already seen the thing, Like, I've read the news about Joaquin Phoenix goes off the deep end. He was on Letterman. He's crazy. Like, I've seen the thing at this point. What more could they possibly show me that would even be funny at all? For this. And I'm not sure that this was a good move for Joaquin Phoenix, being that he was finally at a place in his career where he was actually getting somewhere, and then to do this just makes no sense.
That's my big problem with the whole deal, is that I understand that it's a performance art piece, and Bruno and Sacha Baron Cohen has those two characters, Borat and Bruno, that he does that with, but he's a comedian, and those were funny films. I'm Still Here is not funny. It's not going to do anything at the box office, and it seems like an awful big waste to take 2 years of your life and dedicate it to this stigma that you're absolutely crazy and you're on drugs, and especially since his brother died of a drug overdose. I just think it's bad taste, and I don't think anyone's going to see this film.
And big news coming out of ABC right now is that they have just landed James Cameron's True Lies. They're going to take the film, adapt it into a TV show, which to me sounds fairly interesting. I'm interested in seeing this, but I'm not too sure that this is an idea that would necessarily adapt well to a TV show. And especially, who's going to fill in for the Schwarzenegger role in this? And what kind of shots, what kind of direction are we expecting out of this from James Cameron? Because if you look at his Dark Angel stuff, they really wasn't shot amazingly. I don't know. What do you think about this?
As much as I love the original film, I think you've addressed a lot of the problems. Who's going to be the starring role? ABC has had a history of spy thrillers with Alias, but they've also tried to get Mr. and Mrs. Smith to the screen, and that failed in the pilot stages. This just seems somewhat like a desperate attempt to reboot a franchise for the television screen and get people in our age range and our fondness of the films to watch a show. I don't think it's going to do well, even if it makes it to the air, and I see a short lifespan for the show. Although I am excited at the possibilities of what it could be in the right hands.
It just seems to me to be the last nail in the coffin. There's going to be no True Lies 2 movie at this point. No matter how much Tom Arnold wants to get Schwarzenegger out there to make another movie with him, there's no more True Lies 2 at this point, and that's the biggest letdown for me with this announcement.
Couldn't agree with you more. I do feel like this is Cameron giving to the fans something because he knows that he'll never get a True Lies 2 off the ground. That he said many times that after 9/11, he just didn't think that making fun of terrorism was funny anymore. And I understand that, but I think the world could have used the True Lies 2 instead of a Collateral Damage or any of the later Schwarzenegger films. A hot new trailer was released this weekend for David O. Russell's film about Irish Mickey Ward, the professional boxer. This is Mark Wahlberg's passion project. He's been training for years to get in shape, look like a fighter. We have Christian Bale here going through an amazing physical transformation in the trailer as a crackhead who plays the brother of the main character. And I gotta admit, I'm a little let down by this trailer. I've really been anticipating this film for a long time. It's been in development, and I'm a little underwhelmed at the trailer. Have you had a chance to see this trailer yet?
I have, and I really think that this is going to be a hit. I think it looks a lot like Invincible crossed with Rocky, especially when you see the bar scene in the trailer. Once that hits and you see the Amy Adams, who's basically stepping in and replacing the Elizabeth Banks character from Invincible, and in that bar setting, it really felt like Marky Mark was back in an environment where he could actually act and be a star again, essentially. But I think you have a different take on the way that this movie should have gone, and I'd be interested in hearing that.
Yeah, I'm a big fight fan, and I followed Mickey Ward's career. He had 3 colossal fights with another man named Arturo Gatti, and their fights with each other were wars. They developed a great friendship through these battles, and in the later stages of Gotti's career, when he had retired, Ward was in his corner as a trainer. I really was hoping that this film would focus on the relationship between those 2 men, especially since Gotti was murdered last year and it's still unresolved. I was hoping that it would touch on those aspects, and the film might touch on it a little bit, but it's definitely not zeroing in on it. And I think that's a far more interesting story than showing the backstory of how Ward got to be in those fights. However, Wahlberg has made a dent playing these characters, these underdog type characters like a Rocky, like you said, Invincible comes to mind, Rockstar comes to mind, and Wahlberg's own life mirrors this, coming up, from the rap world and being, a long shot to make it in the acting field. He's had a great career, so this might be the role that nails it for him in the Oscar category. But the trailer, like I said, I'm a little underwhelmed at the trailer, and I think it just be my prejudices towards the material and how it's presented to me. We also have some box office news as well. Outside the top 10, The Expendables continued to gross this weekend, crossing that 100 million barrier like you and I had predicted it would back in June. And a lot of people said we were crazy for that prediction. We caught a lot of heat on the website. How do you feel about The Expendables crossing that 100 million mark in 36 days?
Well, you knew it was going to do it. This is a movie that had a rabid fan base, and they continue to go see it. It did kind of limp over into the triple digits, I will give it that, but its worldwide gross stands now at 230 million, and there is most definitely going to be a sequel at this point. I think Millennium and also I think Lionsgate are going to push Sly to make this one of his next few films.
Lionsgate has a franchise here. Let's not be mistaken about that.
Debuting this Tuesday on DVD and Blu-ray, we have The Robin Hood. There's also a great week for TV. We have the new 30 Rock Season 4, Castle, complete 2nd season, Bored to Death, 1st season, Desperate Housewives, 6th season, Community, 1st season, How I Met Your Mother, Season 5, Law and Order, Human Target, The Mentalist, 2nd season, Modern Family, Season 1, Mythbusters Collection 6. This is just the TV release week, apparently.
Apparently no one watches television, they just watch DVDs of television.
So I guess that's really the point, is to get these into people's hands so that they're going to be watching next season on TV. But go ahead and look below the video for links to what is coming out on Tuesday, Amazon links to purchase either DVD or Blu-ray, and also a link to the Fighter trailer.
And that does it for our show this week. I want to thank you all for joining us, and please be sure to check out MovieMavericks.com for updates on movie news, new trailers, and film reviews. Thanks again, and we'll see you next weekend.